Good afternoon, everybody. This is Adrienne Montgomery with ERP VAR. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really appreciate you spending your time with us. Today, we're going to be talking about SAP B1, 3 tools to improve efficiencies and manage cash flow. I'm so pleased to have Focus, Starship, and ApS with us today. We're just going to start out with a couple introduction slides here. We've got Paige Schrock. She's the solution consultant over at Focus. She's going to be talking about business analytics and SAP Business One. We have Chris Fletner, sales executive over at Starship, and Hillary Heath, channel manager at ApS Payments. Thank you guys for joining us. Focus is seamlessly connected with SAP Business One, and it helps you spot sales opportunities, grow your margins, optimize your processes, and it really gives you that access to your most valuable assets, that data inside SAP Business One. So it helps you drill into that key information so that you can gain your insights and empower your employees to make better decisions for your businesses. Starship is developed by V Technologies, LLC, and it was founded in 1987. They partner with dozens of parcel and LTL carriers such as DHL, FedEx, Holland, USPS, UPS, YRC, OnTrack, and Pitt, Ohio. They provide that integration between the carriers and the ERP system. And today we're going to be talking about the SAP Business One specific integration, but they're a very mature product. They've been around for all those years, integrating with Dynamics GP, Sage, QuickBooks, Acumatica, Epicor, and SysPro. They also have integrations with Amazon, eBay, Magento, Shopify, and WooCommerce. And ApS Payments is an integrated payment solution provider for SAP Business One. They are trusted by thousands of merchants, and they have level 3 B2B payment processing rates. Hillary's going to go into that a little deeper on how you can save with level 3 integration with SAP Business One. And it reduces risk, also lowering your credit card processing rates. And it also has multi-currency capabilities, which is often a high demand of SAP B1 users. So a little bit about the workflow here. First, we're going to be talking about how all the data comes into SAP Business One, where Focus can pick apart that data and offer all that data in dashboards where you can see exactly what you need to see to help you push your business forward with that strategic insight. And we're going to be talking about how Starship takes the order data that comes into SAP Business One and expedites the shipping process with shipping rules based on the customer's location, the cost of the shipment, the dimensional weight, and we'll take all that and automate the tracking number so customer service can facilitate serving the customer. And ApS Payments will get you the lowest credit card processing rate through level 3 credit card processing, and by reducing that risk, by taking all the data from SAP Business One that's pertinent about the customer that those credit card processing companies need to see to reduce your overall credit card processing rate. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Paige to get started with Focus. Thank you so much, Paige.
Thank you, Adrienne. Okay, so thank you, Adrienne. Very excited to be here to share Focus's business intelligence software and talk specifically about how data analytics can help your business have more insight and access to the data within your SAP Business One ERP to make better decisions and to make those decisions a lot faster. During today's webinar, I'll be sharing ways that you can use business intelligence to improve efficiencies and better manage things like inventory and cash flow. So just to share real quick a little bit about Focus. We were founded in 2001. Focus provides, really designed to provide company-wide and industry-matched data analytics solutions. Today, Focus has grown to serve over 1,700 companies. That's around roughly 20,000 end users. And they appreciate the tailored industry-focused solutions that simplify kind of our approach to data management through powerful analytics and visualization tools. So Focus develops and supports construction, manufacturing, distribution, retail businesses with software that is easy to use and can serve departments and roles throughout those organizations. It works with users of all experience levels. They tend to see high-level metrics, but then also the ability to quickly drill down into underlying detail to better understand their business. So we work very closely with our technology partners. SAP B1 is definitely one of those. The goal is for us is to provide out-of-the-box solution for our ERPs and our technology partners to be able to complement the ERP functionality and then help the users manage those business operations. So business intelligence from Focus, it's designed to be a very easy-to-use tool that works alongside your SAP Business One ERP. The accessible design empowers users, like I said, of all skill levels and departments to easily access the information that they need very quickly in order to make the decisions that they need to make very fast. So in today's fast-changing kind of uncertain environment, having that quick access to information to adapt daily or hourly is very critical to a solution. So today I'm going to show you a couple of different things within Focus. We'll start with kind of a brief overview. I'll do a little demo that captures some bit of how you can use the tool to do things like analyzing customer profitability, managing cash flow, managing inventory, and so on. So I'm going to skip over to my demo environment. There we go. So this is a fairly typical Focus dashboard. So Focus is built on multiple different layers. The highest layer is kind of an easy-to-use, self-service, configurable dashboard. If you scroll down here, you can see I've got sections for sales on my dashboard. I'm tracking, profitability year over year. I'm tracking my CRM and then the commissions that I'm paying out. I've got some inventory management as well. We're also bringing in some supply chain tracking, keeping track of those purchases variance versus the sales variance, and then cost across multiple different types of products. And then down here at the bottom, I've got some accounts receivable. So the idea is that with Focus, you are taking a 360-degree view of the business. We're bringing in data from all different areas of your SAP B1 ERP to be able to kind of bring it together and allow you to analyze it from a lot of different angles. So if I come into Focus, this might be a typical dashboard that I would start with. And maybe I'm a sales manager and I come in and I want to start using Focus. There's a couple of different things that I might look at. I might look to compare my sales versus budget across my different categories. If I notice a category that might be it seems like it's having more of an issue, like this education category, I can hover over any of the charts and the graphs and the widgets to see the actuals. So they're my actual sales, and next to it are my budgeted sales. I can also start applying filters at this very high level. So I can click on that education category. If I hit the focus button up here in the top left-hand corner, it's going to apply that filter to the entire dashboard. So now all the other widgets on the dashboard are going to refresh, but I'm only going to look at customers who are in that education channel. What's nice about this is that you can stay at a very high level, sort of 30,000-foot view, and really start drilling into the data. There it goes. Took a second to refresh. And so you can see all my widgets have now updated. My waterfall chart is updated, so you can see I've got this problem in the last few months. If I scroll down a little bit, you can see I've got my sales growth and profit growth are showing me that, hey, education is obviously a big issue within my sales channels. From these dashboards, you can start working very quickly with our drill down capabilities. So if I want to explore this profit growth a little bit more, I can hit the Analyze button, and it's going to drop me into the underlying data. So this takes me into a Focus database. The way that Focus is structured is that we're pulling data every night from your SAP B1 ERP or whatever your other data source is. We're grabbing two sets of files. We're grabbing transactional files and master record files. So the transactional files will be things like invoices, open orders, bids, AR balances, purchase order line items, GL postings, etc. And then we're matching those up against those master record files, so things like customers and products and GL accounts and branches. And then we're taking all of those and we're indexing and summarizing them by every single period. And what that does is it creates this grid view where you have full freedom to drill down into the data in any way that you choose. So for example, right now, I'm looking at the grid in the center section here, which displays records and measures. I've got my dimensions, which are my different types of measures that I can display. And then across the top, I've got options for manipulating what it is that I'm currently looking at. So for example, right now I'm looking at my profit by sales rep, and I'm comparing a current rolling 12 months versus a previous rolling 12 months. So I can sort these columns and I can start finding out where that profit decline is coming from. If you think about the current situation, you can start stratifying different areas of your business and then start slicing through those to find out, all right, which areas of my business are currently kind of stable and can I work with and continue trying to protect and grow, and which areas of my business are sort of under, quote unquote, under attack or are suffering significant declines in this downturn. So if I wanted to drill into these top level records, I can see that these top 6 or so reps represent the biggest chunk of that decline. I can focus on them, and then I can switch to an entirely different dimension. So I'll switch to something like product class to see, with just those reps in the education channel, where's that decline coming from? And I can see it's these top 2 product classes. I can drill further within this section and see which subclasses are kind of concentrated amongst this decline. Looks like it's downlights and LED lighting. And if I want to, I can drill all the way down to the product level to see the individual items where that profit decline is concentrated. And if I need to, I can go even further. I can go all the way down to those line item level transactions. Okay, so I can actually see the individual orders and the invoice numbers that make up the detail of that decline. From this point, I wanted to add in some additional measures like the actual sales value and quantity and the margin percentage. I can do that. And you see everything updates instantaneously. And that's because of the indexing and summarization that we do ahead of time. Okay. So that drill down capability is completely free form. There are no predefined drill paths. You can kind of approach the data any way you want. So now for a couple of quick use cases around managing inventory and kind of looking at your data and the best ways to approach managing cash flow during this time. So one of the things that's really important is to understand sort of the trends within your business. So if we start with something like product class, if you think about the different areas of your business, there might be places right now which are hit very significantly by the decline, and other areas which are kind of maybe treading water or even expanding during the COVID situation. So one of the key things that you need to be able to do is to be able to quickly track that and analyze that over time. You can see here, I'm looking at my different product classes, and I've got it sorted by total local value. And this is okay. This is good data, right? I can see some detail around how my sales shake out across these product classes. But really what I want to see is I want to track this information visually. This is something I kind of want to keep an eye on from maybe a different angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus just on these top 5, and I'm going to transform this quickly into a chart. Right? Just by clicking that chart option, I get access to all these different types of visualizations I can now create. So I'm going to create a column chart, and maybe I'm going to stack it. And this is going to give me kind of that mix so I can see overall how each part of my business is doing. From here, I can continue manipulating this data. So right now I'm looking at that rolling 12 months. Maybe I want to change this to a custom period. I just want to look at year to date. Just a couple of clicks within the drill down, and you can see that everything within this chart is going to update. Right? And I'm kind of idiosyncratic. I don't like it when the charts read out of order, so I'll take off that reversal, and instantaneously my chart's going to flip around. And this is just as a typical user. I don't even have to be a power user to do this. From here, if I wanted to add this back to a dashboard, I can click on the Add to Dashboard button. It's going to give me a dialog that pops up, giving me a list of the dashboards that I have access to be able to add it. Add it onto my dashboard. I'll just put it there at the top. We'll call this product class trend. Okay. And the idea behind showing you all this is that, in some cases, outside experts or consultants or whatever can tell you the types of things to track. Other cases, you already know what are the things that you need to be tracking. It's just a question of how easy is it for you to really dig into the data in a way that you can track it effectively, quickly, without a lot of manual work. So you can see here in this case, my chart is now up on my dashboard. I can drag and drop, manipulate the size and placement of that chart. I can copy that chart, and I can even change it to a different type of chart just by manipulating the copied widget there. So we'll just call this product class mix. And I'm going to change that to a pie chart. You can see it all updates, and I'm going to hit save. So again, this is something that a typical user could do within Focus to be able to manipulate the data so they can see it the way that they want to. Okay, so I have time for one other use case that I want to show you. If I scroll down, I've got a section down here at the bottom for my accounts receivable. So obviously, cash flow management is a really critical area of concern right now. One of the things that I like to keep track of when I talk about AR is the percentage of that AR that's aged. So in this case, if I click on this widget to analyze the underlying data, and take me to an AR database where I'm tracking those current aging balances. And the way that I've created this measure is using something called custom mode. This is another advantage that Focus has from a self-service BI tool. So what I've done here is I'm comparing two different ratios. So I've got my outstanding AR value, and this is looking at my total value. And then I've got my outstanding AR value where I'm only looking at the ages, 60, 90, 90 to 120, and 120 and over. And what I've done here is I've taken, this A value and this B value, created a ratio, multiplied it by 100, and that's given me this column that's tracking my percentage over 60 within each one of these different customers' AR balances. From that point, I turned it into a dashboard, or into a chart rather. We've got a gauge KPI that you can use, and I can set the ranges that I want to use. So if I wanted to update this and say, okay, I want red to be from 15 and up, I can change that value, and everything's going to update on the screen once I do. So you can start setting those thresholds and being able to see very quickly at a glance kind of how that relates. Okay. So it's just a couple of really quick use cases of how you might manage things in your business using Focus as your data analytics tool. I want to invite you to schedule a personalized demo to talk more about how data analytics can help your business. Feel free to contact us by email or phone. And now I'm going to hand it back over to our next presenter to share more about ways you can improve efficiencies and manage cash flow in your business. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much, Paige. And now Chris with Starship. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. We'll talk to you a little bit about Starship and V Technologies with a brief PowerPoint, and then we'll get right into the product demo. The company's been around for over 30 years, focusing primarily on shipping integration, starting with UPS and FedEx, and we've built that out over the decades to cover a whole plethora of different carriers, both parcel and LTL, and an ever-expanding list of ERP integrations. Currently, we have a customer base of over 10,000 users, and today we're going to take a look at the SAP Business One integration. What Starship can do is basically harness all of the different types of order data sources, whether that be from EDI, Ecommerce, from your ERP, and pull that all together into one application with hooks into all the various carriers, so you have a single workflow for all of your shipping processes. Starship can take the data out of Business One for either orders or invoices, or we can also pull information from deliveries. So if you're working in conjunction with a WMS like the Lisa product or YSYS, those can be staged, picked and packed, and then we can read the package contents directly from the deliveries in Business One. From there, Starship will rate shop it, print all of your documents for delivering the shipment, packing list, export docs, bills of lading, all of your shipping labels, and then hand off that data to both the EDI solutions, so we can do a handshake with many popular EDI solutions to automate the ASN process, also backfeeding data to both the Ecommerce platform and to Business One, so you have it there for customer service. Just a quick look here at a number of the different carriers we have, over 30 different carrier offerings with the Starship product today, all of your national and regional parcel carriers, as well as 20 different LTL options for all of your national and regional carriers. We've also partnered up with a number of third-party logistics operations like C.H. Robinson, Freight Quotes, and Worldwide Express. Look here at some of the e-commerce solutions that Starship can integrate with. We started first with Amazon and then built that out for other marketplaces and shopping cart platforms. About a dozen different e-commerce solutions that we're currently supporting, and that list is also evolving over time. And with that, we're going to jump into the demo. Bring that up here. So this is the Starship web client here. There's also an older traditional desktop client, but this is kind of the way forward for Starship. You have an updated look for the user interface here, and I'm going to show you how you can ship orders in Starship. With Business One, you have integration with orders, deliveries, and invoices. We can also link directly to the customer card if you don't have a sales transaction that you need to ship against. You could simply scan in the transaction off of your pick ticket or your paperwork if you have that barcoded, or you can also multi-select here, drill down into multiple orders. There's filters here, so you can clean up the view. I have it sorted here by customer, but you can sort by really any of the order header information that you're looking for, so any of the address fields, date, status, certain ship method. We'll go ahead and pick this first order here and get started with the shipping process. Starship's going to pull all that order information over from B1, populate it on our screen here. You'll see these different widgets that will carve up the information. And you can drill down into that here by clicking on the pen icon. I'll show you all the order data. You have the return address here. You can have multiple companies or different business units that you're shipping on behalf of if you're doing blind shipments as well on behalf of other companies, or you have multiple brands that you're shipping on behalf of. Starship will validate the address. You'll see this little green checkbox here, let you know that we checked the address as it came over from B1. With that, we'll look at the city, state, zip. We can apply the zip +4 postal formatting. We'll get down to the street level, and you'll see a TrueCommerce icon here. If you have EDI enabled, you'll see that show up there. That'll allow Starship to print 128 labels, any trading partner specific paperwork, packing list, bills of lading that you may need, and then we can do a handshake with the EDI solution to pass on all that pack container data to build your 856 off of. Your ship via, well, it'll be translated over here as a carrier in service. The operator has the ability to change that here, or you can automate that carrier selection by setting up ship via rules. Packaging, if you have packaging defined in the delivery, we'll pick that up from there, or Starship can also be packed here on the fly. I'll open this up, take a look at our containers. So by default, Starship can put everything into your default container. We can also open up the packing assistant here, and then we can add packages and open up items to place them into their individual containers. That'll show each item packed in its own container. Once we've packed everything up, we're ready to rate shop. Click on that here. That'll call out to all your various carriers. Again, that can also be automated through business rules. If you want to let the system do the thinking for you, you can take that decision out of the hands of the operator and let Starship pick the best carrier for you based on price or transit time, any number of factors. So you'll see here a list of different options that are available. You can see there's a couple of different postal options that are a little bit cheaper. Starship does give you access to postal rates, and we can also do an audit of your parcel volume to see if there could be some potential money that you're leaving on the table if you need to shift some of that volume over to the post office and save some money by maybe changing some of the packaging, or we can target different classes and zones where you're shipping to, where you should maybe consider the post office as an option. We'll go ahead and stick that with the UPS service that came over from Business One here. When I'm ready to process, I have my ship and process icon here. You have keyboard shortcuts for all your common program functions. F3 will process your shipment, print your labels, your documents. At that point, we're going to hand off all the data to the other external systems that Starship's connected into. So we're going to write back information into Business One. We're also going to, update a shopping cart or e-commerce platform where you have orders coming from, and we can also pass that data over to the EDI solution as well. Here you'll see just kind of a preview of a common packing list and shipping label. You can do thermal labels with all the standard hardware that you may have from the existing UPS or FedEx systems. We can also do some of these hybrid forms where you have the packing list and the label together. Multiple formats available. And with that, the cursor will come back over here to the original field where you can scan or enter in the next sales transaction. So let's take a look back in Business One at the results. So right now I have my transactions writing back to deliveries. We can keep them with open orders. Starship can also take a delivery and turn that into a shipment as well. And then we can also take a delivery and then take that shipment and turn it into an invoice. So there's preferences around that. You can leave it with the original transaction, or we can kind of move it along the workflow as your preference. I will update the notes here on the shipments, put in the detail from Starship, and that could be customized with additional information if you'd like. Tracking information will go to the tracking table here. And then if you are working with deliveries, we can also take the contents of those shipments, so the different types of containers, and then put in the quantities of product back into Business One. Starship also has a SQL extension, so if you're using the SQL version of Business One, we can also read and write data to additional user-defined or custom fields as well. So that's the general workflow with Starship and Business One. Same idea if you're doing LTL or freight shipping. Some of the additional types of documents that we can produce surrounding that would be your bills of lading, or if it's going out internationally, any of your export documents. Starship can retrieve documents from any of the carriers that are integrated into it, or you also have a whole set of different documents that are built into the application that you can then modify. So just a quick look here at some of those. You have the straight bill of lading, VIX format. Also have a master bill of lading if you have a truckload or multi-stop type shipment, and then all of your export documents. You have the commercial invoice, your NAFTA paperwork if it's going into Canada or Mexico. You also have a U.S. certificate of origin, shipper's letter of instruction if you're working with a broker, and then also you have the option of shipping all of those without printing out the hard copy on the paper. You can also upload those directly to the carriers. We also have hooks into the ACE filing system if you need to do EEI filing. Any of those documents that I just showed you, you have the ability to customize those with the template customizer. So you have basically XY coordinates on the page, and this is everything that's underneath that document. You can manipulate all the data and objects on the page. You can just drag and drop here from the left. It can include graphics. You can draw on the page, barcodes of any data. You can insert bands of text where you have these columns of data that line up, individual fields, and blocks of text. So any of this information can be customized. You can remove that. Any of the fields of information that can be edited as well. And you can place whatever information you want. So basically anything you see on the screen, you can grab that data, place it somewhere in the document. You've got different categories of data here, and you can easily take that information, place it on the form. So not only do you have the printed forms, you can also send those to PDF. One of the really cool things that you can do with Starship is send out attachments. So with our eNotify product, it's another add-on module that you get with the Starship license. You have the ability to send out customized and branded emails. So you can do a little bit of customization with the formats. You can add your logo. You can have links back into your site. And probably the important thing is that it's coming from you, so it's not coming from the carrier, and the responses will come directly to you. You have total control over the timing as it's going out through your own SMTP server. And then here's where you can set up any attachments. So any of those documents that we're producing, those can be hard copies, they can be PDFs, and then they can also be set up with the email templates to automatically send a copy of that to your customer. So you can proactively notify them of the shipment status, include any documents as attachments, and hopefully that will cut down on the number of customer service calls that you're receiving inbound. Of course, we have that information feeding back into Business One, but Starship also gives you a couple of different customer service tools. With the license, you also have a dashboard. This is where all of your users can come to look at the historical shipments, and then also have some analysis here with some analytics on your freight spend. You have some built-in widgets here that will give you a look at all of your shipping activity over a period of time. You also have the heat map here, which will show you exactly where the concentration of all your shipments are going to. And then access to history here. You have a lot of the common ERP fields that you'd be getting out of Business One, but you can also kind of search by any information that we have within the shipment here. So very easy to find and track down the shipment that you are looking for, get access to the tracking information, reprint any labels or documents, and all that can be delivered without taking up a user license on your Starship system. This is freely distributed to any of your users in the front office. You also have access to a rate quote utility. So this will give you the ability to do some rate shopping on the front end. So if you need to give the customer an estimate of what the freight charges may be in advance of the shipment going out, that'll also be included with your license. I'd like to thank everyone for your time and attention today. That's all I had prepared, and I will go ahead and kick it over to Hillary.
My name is Hillary. I'm the channel manager here at ApS Payments for SAP Business One. I'll run through a quick little slideshow. Here we are. That's me in the middle. In the upper top, I just wanted to take a second to shout out how full service APS is as a payment processing company. We have a huge team of development professionals, an integration support team that will help you with whatever services that you need in regards to our add-on, and we're the payment experts here. So we really want to offer you guys not only a full service solution, but a full service support team to allow you guys to be the most successful with your Business One add-ons. So I'll kind of breeze through this here. We all know that there's a ton of payment processing challenges. I literally have an entire slide here about what could go wrong with payment processing, or why people kind of think payment processing is a big headache. You've got duplicate entry, which is time consuming, and you have errors. You can really mess things up payment wise. You don't want to undercharge or overcharge anybody. Understanding merchant fees is so confusing if you're not a merchant services professional, and sometimes even if you are. But not all merchant services provide level 3 processing. I'll go into a little bit more detail about what that is later. You may not be able to call someone 24/7 if you have a payment that doesn't go through. You know, it's the end of the month and you were hoping to collect on one of those guys that Paige shouted out that, might not be paying on time, and you really got to get that money before the end of the month, and you can't pay online, and you don't have the ability to process international. So really lots of challenges in terms of payment processing. So we're here to alleviate some of those. Understanding the fee structures is kind of the one where we're able to provide the most education. Normally, when you have a payment processing, you want to do business and accept credit cards and ACH payments, you can have a few different types of fee structures: flat rate, tiered pricing, or interchange plus. Flat rate, it's pretty simple, one standard rate for every transaction. You're going to get a lot of overcharging there because the company who is doing your payment processing wants to make sure that they're making as much money as possible. Tiered pricing is kind of arbitrary, whether these payments will be fully qualified, mid-qualified, non-qualified. They're going to build in profit there as well, to 0.5%, upwards of 1-2% extra. And then you've got interchange plus pricing, which is the pricing that we offer at APS, which allows us to pay the hard cost or to you guys to pay the hard cost as a merchant, and we're going to mark up those transactions so we can make our profit, but we're going to be transparent about that. This is where we are able to save you the most money, because with level 3 processing, we're able to pass on information to reduce the risk of payments. And when we say pass on information, we mean a lot of data that we're going to get natively from SAP, so you don't have to run those double entry and experience those miskeying and error entries. And we're going to collect all this information natively from SAP in terms of transaction amount all the way down to the freight amount that you guys got from your Starship solution. So we want to prevent you guys from having to enter this information, but also provide the benefits that level 3 processing gives you. Level 3 processing is a program that was instituted by Visa, MasterCard, because they wanted to show that those transactions are lower risk. So by providing this information, they are able to verify that they're lower risk transactions. So this is an example of one of our merchant statements that you would see with APS. Our business model is to be as transparent as possible. So we'll show you and analyze your original merchant statements where you're currently using them, and we'll discover what kind of rate structure you were using before. You can see with the tiered rate structure, you've got, this 2%, 2.74%, and the actual cost of those transactions to you guys, and then your current total fees. With Interchange Plus, we're going to add in those level 3 discount rates and reduce those rates. And you can see outlined your savings that you would have saved had you been with APS through those months. So in addition to saving information, saving money, we obviously want to make payment processing as easy as possible. To get your money, you shouldn't have to jump through hoops and jump through fire to get paid by your customers. So we have a new platform that's out right now, which is called ApS Click To Pay. It's simple, convenient, and secure. You can send out an email invoice from SAP, click the button, your customer is going to take you to a screen that they are able to control their payments, and then you get paid without any hassle, without having to chase down merchants and get their customer information. Maybe they have an expired credit card that you forgot to call them, or they forgot to give you the CVV code. Anything can go wrong in terms of payments, and we wanted to completely alleviate that for you. So I'm going to see if I can gracefully switch screens here to my demo. There we go. Everyone should see SAP now.
We do.
Perfect. So I'll just open up Business Partner Master Data. After you've gone through your shipping information and you know where your business is making money with your focus solution, we want you to actually get paid. So we'll bring up Business Partner Master Data, and I'll show you how we use this native information within SAP to get you those lower rates. So this is a pretty standard Business Partner Master Data screen with our payment information saved here. The best part about APS is that we're fully PCI compliant, and we're able to actually tokenize this information so your system isn't at risk. You're not actually storing any credit card or ACH information within your SAP tables or your databases here. And it gives you instant feedback about what's going on with your credit cards, whether or not you have an address match or your CVV was provided or wasn't matching. So you have full visibility about what your payment information is in terms of each customer that you have. So we're actually using information from this addresses tab here to grab billing and shipping information so you don't have to re-enter it. We'll get contact information from your contact person's page or your general page. So again, you're not having to go back out and retype things that you've already spent lots of time retyping. There are many ways to take payments with an SAP, but I will go ahead and show you two different brief examples on the AR invoice screen. So no matter how you get to the invoice, whether you're using a system like Starship, which we hope you do because it obviously saves you time and money, but we'll get you to your invoicing screen. So this is my standard SAP invoice that I've got here, and I'll navigate to our APS Pays tab where I don't have any transaction information because I haven't taken a payment yet. If I have the payment information on file, I can just select it from the dropdown and grab my ACH or grab a Discover card, however your customer wants to pay you. And you can click the Sale button. You can take as many payments as you need to on here to get your invoice fully closed out. And one of the best parts about our solution is we're going to do that accounting for you. Your invoice will be automatically closed and your incoming payments, which can be a pain, will be created automatically based on the number of credit card transactions that you're processing. I'll go ahead and demonstrate a different way to pay as well with our Click to Pay feature. I'm going to bring up an invoice preview. I do apologize because mine is pretty ugly. We all know that Crystal reports are very customizable, and we wanted to just kind of show the versatility of our solution as well. We've got our typical APS branded customer here, but what's important is our payment link. Most of our customers add a Pay Now button or a Click Here to Pay or Click to Pay, that's why it's called that, payment link down at the bottom. So they're going to enable their customer to drive the payments themselves. That's for those tricky to reach customers like Focus mentioned, you know, people who are maybe 45 or 60 days out on their payment and they can't just call up and give you their credit card information. This allows them to drive the payments. So I'll go ahead and click this Click to Pay invoice. This is what your customer will see when they want to go pay you. They'll see their open invoices here on their right-hand side. All these are red. This customer has had a little bit of difficulty paying. We haven't had an invoice from them since November 5th, but they ordered some more stuff earlier this week, and we want to give them the opportunity to pay. So they can enter a new credit card information over here on the left-hand side. They can pay with ACH. You're able to restrict these payments as well. So if you don't want a credit card payment being processed by a particular customer, you can remove that ability to pay by credit card and they can pay by ACH. Or the customer also has the ability to save this information for later, making it even easier for them to come back and give you more money, which is what we like. We've got all this line item detail down here if we're scrolling onto this invoice. This is copied directly from B1. So you've got all this information here that allows us to keep track of what we're paying. I'm going to go ahead and pay this $100 invoice as it's ready. I'll enter some test information. Got my test discover card here and my CVV and a postal code for us. And your customer is going to enter that in right away, and it's going to go to our secure gateway and give a successful transaction message. For whatever reason, if you see your customer saying, oh, my card got declined, it will tell your customer right away that your card has been declined and for what reason. We provide that transaction information here that allows us to keep track of this transaction through its history, but your customer is done. They've seen their successful transaction, they're paid, and you're good to go. So I'll X out of this Click to Pay portal and go back into Business One. So now that we're all paid within Business One, you can see our invoice over here is closed, and we have in our relationship map that our incoming payment has been created when it's good to go. So no extra accounting is needed. I'll go ahead and bring it back to my PowerPoint here. Whoops, oh no. Skip through here. To just talk about a few more, there we go, a few more reasons why APS is the way to go. We also integrate with some of these other solutions that if you're using a Starship solution, you may be using some other e-commerce solutions as well. And we want to provide that accessibility across all your platforms so you're not having to switch gateways, you're not having to switch payment processors, and keep everything uniform. How to get started, we provide an analysis review for every one of our potential customers to allow them to really see that visibility in terms of how much money they're spending on their credit card processing right now, and we'll be able to provide them that analysis that shows us how much we can potentially save you. We'll go over your workflow. I know we only covered 1.5 workflows here today, but we do have a lot of other screens that we're able to process payments on, like the sales order and delivery documents as well. And then we'll implement you. Our implementation team, that's the team I actually came from and used to work with. They're great people. Will provide you everything that you need to get started to make sure that your payments are flowing from your ERP to your e-commerce solution and everything's working cohesively. And then the best part is that you start saving money so you can afford all these other great solutions that we've talked about on our call today. If you need to get in touch with us, you can reach out to me. My email's up on the screen and I'd be happy to take your call. And I can pass it back to Adrienne.
Thank you, Hillary, and everyone for your excellent presentations. I'm going to go ahead and flash up the contact information here for each of the presenters. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.